Hello everybody. So here we have an example of a little program where we can start using some control structures and logic to have the program do certain things. Up to this point in time, when we created a program and maybe there was a click event for this button, when we went into the code for that button, it would really, here's button check guess, it would have went all the way through every line in this code in order from top to bottom, and that was it. So that's not a very robust program. So here in this program we have one where it's a simple little program. On the form, the user is prompted to enter a guess between 1 and 10 of a number. They click the button check guess and they get some feedback. Okay, well, how do we give them that feedback? How do we know whether they got the number right? So in this simple little program right here, we've dimensioned a couple of local variables inside this button check guess click event. Okay, we've got an integer secret number, and besides declaring it, we've already initialized it to be 7 right away. And we have a variable that's guess that the user puts in that text box. Okay, we get that input from the text box. We take that string of text, put it through a val function so it won't crash the program as it's going into this variable that's an integer over here. And now in this if-then logic structure or control structure, we're basically going to compare, does integer guess equal integer secret number? And if it does, we're going to put a message up here for them and a label that just says, hey, you guessed it, type of thing, right? Now obviously this is a very limited game. We'll look at this, we'll revisit this game a few different times to add some things to it, to make it more challenging for the user to win and that type of thing. But right now I just want you to get in the understanding here of this if-then structure. Okay, it's pretty simple, right? One thing that confuses some people though is that, we've got this equal sign in two different lines of code here. It's actually being used two different ways, right? In the first line right up here, this is an assignment statement. So what's on the right side of the equal sign is being assigned to what's on the left side of the equal sign. So take the text that's in text player guess, put it through a val function, and then put that into the variable int guessed. The equal sign in the next line of code is doing something very different. It's not an assignment statement, right? Because if it was, if it did the same thing, secret number would go into int guessed, right? But this is not an assignment statement. It's a if-then statement. So in this situation, the equal sign is actually treated differently. It's a relational operator. So it's looking at it and saying, ooh, are these two things equal? And on your screen of reading there, you looked at the different relational operators that you can have and how you could utilize those. Okay, so that's something you want to review. Here again, in the next line of code right here, we once again use the equal sign in an assignment statement, so you guessed it, is assigned to the text property of label message. So when we run this program, pretty simple, right? As it comes up here, I type in 6, click check guess, and unfortunately one limitation with this program is it tells me nothing. And like I said, we'll revisit it and do more with that. But if I were to actually put a 7 in there, then it gives me feedback that I guessed it because the code inside of that if-then statement was executed because this Boolean condition here, if this is true, then do what's inside of here. Boolean means true or false. So if it doesn't come true, then it just skips over it. Okay, go ahead and build your Calculate My Grade program. Look at that assignment to see everything you need to build into it, and you'll be working with this if-then logic structure.